Ladies and gentlemen, a few hours ago, when I got up from this chair after wrapping up the last live that we did with the experts that we had here, I did not think I'd be coming back to office and will be inside the studio again. But here I am. And the reason I am, along with my entire team at this point in time, is because around 3.5 hours after, an agreement has been reached with the mediation of US between India and Pakistan has been violated. The agreement was to stop firing. The DGMOs of the two countries were expected to have a conversation at 1200 hours on 12th of May. Until then, both the countries, beginning 5 p.m. this evening, were supposed to stop firing at each other. This included all kinds of firing on land, sea, and air. It's 10 o'clock in the night, 2 hours ago, from my sources in Kashmir, from my sources in Punjab, I started hearing that Pakistan has started firing in the direction of India again. Now we have multiple reports which have come in. Some of them are about the kind of violation. I am not sure if we can call it a ceasefire, because that is not the term which was used by India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri in the press briefing, in that brief statement that he made around 5:57 p.m. So let's just call it violation of whatever agreement India and Pakistan had reached with US mediation. And since then, videos have been coming in. I am joined by multiple guests, some of them from Jammu, some of them from Rajasthan. Let me quickly go to them. And instead of me telling you what has happened, let's just hear it from them. People who are actually on the ground. These are, civilians. These are citizens who stay in Jammu, Rajasthan, and Punjab. And then, of course, we will have experts talking to us about what they have heard from their sources and what they think has happened. Let me first go across to Rohit ji, who is joining us from somewhere in Jammu. The visuals, I will request my team to start putting on the screen at this point in time. Rohit ji is here. I am sure he can hear me. Rohit ji, can you hear me? Aapko meri awaaz aa rahi hai, Rohit ji? Just give me 20 seconds, sir, to let my audience know about the condition that you, along with at least a dozen people, that's what I can see in Rohit ji's frame. Rohit ji is somewhere in Jammu. He is in a bunker, along with not just his immediate family, his wife, his children, and others, but he is joined by at least a dozen others. People who either live in the neighborhood or people who had come to places where bunkers were available, because along the border region, in certain houses, in certain areas, in certain villages, bunkers are not available. And so they were asked to come to places where there were bunkers and they could be accommodated. As the agreement between India and Pakistan was reached around that point in time and was announced by the Foreign Secretary at around 6 p.m. this evening, these people started making plans of heading back to their homes. Now, these are the visuals on your screen. In the background, you can see this is a bunker. This is what a bunker along the Mughal Road, the old Rasta, which used to, take you to Kashmir. Now, of course, we all use the Jawahar Tunnel to enter into Kashmir. And, of course, the new railway bridge, which has opened. So this is along that road, somewhere along that road. I don't think there is any merit or any point in disclosing his exact location at this point in time. So he's somewhere along that route. And he is with his family in this bunker. Rohit ji, आपसे पहला सवाल ये, आप इस वक्त बंकर में हैं, पहला फायर, पहला रॉकेट, पहला ड्रोन, आपने जो भी देखा, आप सबसे पहले हमें ये बताइए उस वक्त समय क्या हो रहा था और आपने क्या देखा, क्या सुना?
प्रिय सर, सबसे पहले मैं आपको बताऊं कि जैसे ही 6 बजे के आसपास हमने ये प्रेस ब्रीफ सुनी, यहाँ पर सीज फायर हो चुका है। तो सीज फायर होने के बाद सभी लोग जो हैं, एक खुशी का माहौल था, क्योंकि हम लोग बॉर्डर के रहने वाले हैं। हम लोग फायरिंग को जानते हैं कि फायरिंग से कितना नुकसान होता है। हम लोग में खुशी का माहौल था और लोग अपने घरों को वापस सुरक्षित स्थानों के लिए जाना शुरू हो गए थे। लेकिन बदकिस्मती से ठीक 10 मिनट के अंदर फिर से फायर जो है वो शुरू हो गया। ठीक मतलब जैसे ही सीज फायर की, हमको लोग अपने अपने जो है वो सुरक्षित स्थानों से निकल करके अपने घरों को लौट रहे थे, वैसे आप मेरे पीछे देख रहे होंगे जितने भी लोग बैठे हैं, ये कोई अलग अलग जगह से हैं, और ये सभी लोग सीज फायर होने के बाद अपने घरों को जा रहे थे। तो जैसे ही दोबारा फायर शुरू हुआ, ये ना घर के रहे ना ये कैंप में जाने के लिए, ये रास्ते में ये बेचारे अटक गए। फिर ये सारे इंसानों को मैं अपने साथ अपने बंकर में रखा हुआ है। वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेट कि ये क्या हुआ कैसे नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि हमें पहले ही ये शंका थी कि ये जो पड़ोसी मुल्क है ये लातों के भूत बातों से नहीं सुधरे, ना ये सुधरेगा। वही हुआ जिसका डर था। एक बार फिर जो है हैवी शेलिंग जो है इस समय हमारे इलाके में हो रही है। आप जानते हैं मैं कहाँ से हूँ। मैं इस समय नाम नहीं लेना चाहूंगा
आपको
जिस
बताने
सेक्टर
की
में मैं
जरूरत
हूँ।
नहीं है, मैंने बता दिया जो बताना था। आप बस वो बताइए जो
यहाँ पे
आपने देखा,
हैवी
रोहित जी।
हैवी शेलिंग हो रही है, और सामने सामने ड्रोन जो है बाहर, अभी मैं जा नहीं सकता हूँ, अदरवाइज आपको दिखाता। ऊपर से ड्रोन जाते दिखाई दे रहे हैं।
कोई
बड़ा
आवश्यकता
टैंक
नहीं है रोहित जी, कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है, हमें नहीं देखने ड्रोन। 50 जगह से हमारे पास और विजुअल्स आ जाएंगे। आप जहां हैं, सुरक्षित हैं, बंकर में हैं, वहीं रहिए, वहीं रहिए।
अब ये
आपके ऊपर
ये
सिर्फ आपके
मेरे
परिवार की जिम्मेदारी नहीं है, आपके साथ ये कम से कम 1 दर्जन लोग मुझे बैकग्राउंड में दिखाई दे रहे हैं। मुझे पता नहीं
25 से
सीन थोड़ा सा डार्क है, व्यूअर्स को दिखाई दे रहा है कि नहीं।
25 से 30 लोग हैं हम लोग यहाँ पे इस समय। और ये सभी लोग जो हैं सीज फायर का सुन के अपने घरों को जा रहे थे। लेकिन अचानक से ठीक जैसे ही सीज फायर की न्यूज सुनी, ये लोग खुशी खुशी अपने घरों को लौट रहे थे। वैसे ही 15-20 मिनट के बाद फिर से हैवी शेलिंग जो है वो सुनाई दी। कई कह रहा, पहले तो ऐसे लगा, किसी ने कहा कि नहीं ये लाइव शेल्स जो पाकिस्तान की तरफ से रह गए थे उनको डिफ्यूज किया जा रहा है। तो लोगों ने कहा ठीक है चलो, लोग सहम गए, लेकिन फिर भी खुशी थी कि हम घर जा रहे हैं। लेकिन जैसे ही हैवी मोटार चले और एक आर्मी की तरफ से सायरन बजाया गया और लोगों को अवेयर किया गया, फिर अनाउंस किया गया कि सभी सुरक्षित स्थानों पे जाएं, तो फिर से एक बार दोबारा हम जहनी तौर पर इस समय जो है बड़े ही परेशान हैं। लोग आप देख रहे हैं, छोटे छोटे बच्चे मेरे साथ हैं, ये सब अलग अलग सेक्टर से हैं लोग, और 25 से 30 लोग हैं जो अभी इस समय हम बंकर में हैं, और बाहर हैवी शेलिंग हो रही है।
हैवी शेलिंग हो रही है। एक सेकंड रोहित जी, मैं आपके पास फिर से आ रहा हूं, आप ही के पास आ रहा हूं। विंग कमांडर शर्मा, ब्रिगेडियर दहिया, एंड ऑफ कोर्स एम्बेसडर सिंह, please give me a few more minutes. I'll come to all of you one after another. But I would like the audience to first hear, of course, from people who are at the forefront and, of course, are facing the full brunt of what has just happened. So my apologies, but I'll try and come back to you as soon as possible. हमारे साथ ओमकार सिंह जी भी हैं। ये हमारे साथ राजस्थान से जुड़ रहे हैं, बाड़मेर से। ओमकार सिंह जी, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? ओमकार सिंह जी, राजस्थान में क्या हो रहा है, आप हमें बता सकते हैं?
राजस्थान में सर अभी 9:15 बजे के करीब पूरे पश्चिमी राजस्थान के बॉर्डर एरिया में चोटन रामसर पूरे एरिया में ड्रोन ऊपर घूमते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं। लोगों में दहशत का माहौल हो गया। पाकिस्तान द्वारा एक बार फिर सीज फायर का उल्लंघन कर दिया गया और वो अपनी नापाक हरकतों से बाज नहीं आ रहा है। पूरे क्षेत्र में बॉर्डर एरिया में ड्रोन घूम रहे हैं। लोगों में थोड़ा दहशत का माहौल है।
जी। और कुछ देर पहले जब आप शायद मेरे कॉलीग से बात कर रहे थे, तो आपने
जी
कोई एक्सप्लोजन भी सुना था?
हाँ सर, उस समय हमने ऐसा सुना कि बाड़मेर के पास में जो, मैं तो एकदम बॉर्डर एरिया से हूँ चोटन से, लेकिन बाड़मेर के पास में जोर के धमाकों के साथ ब्लास्ट होने की आवाजें आई है।
ये मतलब आपने ब्लास्ट की आवाज अपने कानों से सुनी या आपने किसी से बात सुनी कि ब्लास्ट हुआ है?
ब्लास्ट की तो बात सुनी, लेकिन ड्रोन मैंने आंखों से देखे जिसके विजुअल मैंने आपको भेजे हैं।
ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है। जी जी जी,
बिल्कुल
बिल्कुल
पश्चिमी
बिल्कुल।
रास्ते बॉर्डर एरिया में बिल्कुल निकल रहे हैं, और उसके वीडियो बना
जी
के भेजे हैं मैंने आपको।
जी जी जी, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। और मेरे क्रू के पास जैसे ही वो अरेंज कर पाएंगे वो इसको एकदम से स्क्रीन पर भी डालेंगे। बट ओंकार जी, हमारे साथ थोड़ा सा इंतजार कीजिए। अब मैं थोड़ा एक एक करके अपने बाकी गेस्ट से बात करता हूं और आपके पास फिर मैं वापस आऊंगा। बट व्यूअर्स, एज यू कैन सी ऑन योर स्क्रीन एट दिस पॉइंट इन टाइम, यू विल सी अ वेरी डार्क फ्रेम एंड टू bright objects against that dark sky. And these visuals are from Jaisalmer. These have been shared with us by people who are there. And of course, we're talking to some of them. Omkar ji is with us. You just heard from him. And now I'd quickly like to come to you, Ambassador Singh. Can you hear me, sir? Ambassador Singh, when we were talking in the evening, this was just a few hours ago, we discussed, of course, the shocking, surprising announcement of the so-called agreement which had been reached between India and Pakistan with mediation of course, US, as President Trump, put out on his Truth Social account. And we were talking about, what might have happened. We were trying to join some dots. We were trying to understand the terms and conditions. And by the time we could do it, here we are. It's 10 p.m., 15 minutes past 10 p.m. And Pakistan seems to have already violated the agreement.
A ceasefire, which their military evidently does not want to
confirm. Ambassador Singh, I'm so sorry I'm interrupting you, sir, but apparently our audio and visuals, were lost when I was talking to you, when I asked you the question. So for our viewers and of course for you as well, I will ask that question again. And if I can request you with apology, of course, this is, live and we were not expecting to do this at this point in time. I'll ask you the question again, sir, and if you can please start responding again afresh. So Ambassador Singh, as I was saying, we were talking in the evening just a few hours ago, sir, and we, at that point in time, had just heard the Foreign Secretary make that very brief statement where he talked about the agreement reached between India and Pakistan to stop firing until the 12th of May, which is when the DGMOs of both countries were expected to have a conversation at 1200 hours, which was the announcement. And this was achieved, of course, this stoppage in firing with the mediation of US. And as I was telling my viewers, pretty much the entire crew did not expect that we'll be back here in studio, in office again, just a few hours later, and there will be this U-turn on part of Pakistan and the kind of firing which Rohit ji, who has joined us from Jammu, Omkar ji, who has joined us from Jaisalmer, Badmer, were just telling us about. So my question now to you, sir, is I don't know exactly what to ask you, but I suppose this was definitely not the U-turn. After the U-turn we saw just a few hours ago, we were not expecting this.
So I think India's skepticism is proved right. Pakistani perfidy is out again. And the Americans must be wondering what they did. Because what Rubio and Trump put out, nobody seemed to be following that. They said there was mediation by them. We said that we had direct talks at DGMO level. They said that there would be a ceasefire, which the Pakistan military has evidently ignored. And they said there would be some kind of talks after this on various issues, which I don't think is happening. So I think perhaps all of us were so keen to see an end to hostilities that we overlooked the evident sabotage that the Pakistan army is capable of, particularly for an agreement which their civilian government has agreed to. So while there is an element of India in it, I think there is a large amount of internal dynamics in Pakistan. which we are unable to see. We need to be careful that these barrages of firing are not used to infiltrate terrorists while we were not looking. Thank you.
Ambassador Singh, I'll come to you. Brigadier Dhaya, please wait for me to come to you for a little more time. I'd quickly like to go back to Rohit ji. Rohit ji, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है सर?
आ रही है सर।
रोहित जी, आपको अभी भी बाहर कुछ आवाजें सुनाई दे रही हैं? आप इस वक्त अपने बंकर में हैं, आपके साथ करीब 30 लोग हैं जो सिर्फ आपके परिवार के नहीं हैं, इसमें ऐसे कई लोग हैं जो सीज फायर का अनाउंसमेंट, जिसके बारे में मैं अभी एम्बेसडर सिंह से बात कर रहा था, वो अनाउंस होने के बाद अपने घरों की तरफ चल दिए थे, जो बॉर्डर के इलाके, जो बॉर्डर के एक्चुअली में बहुत पास है। तो इस वक्त आपको क्या सुनाई दे रहा है? दिखाई तो नहीं देगा, और मैं आपसे कहूंगा भी नहीं कि आप इस वक्त उठें, जहां हैं सुरक्षित हैं वहीं पे रहें। क्या कुछ सुनाई दे रहा है आपको इस वक्त?
बाहर बहुत हैवी शेलिंग, जैसे कि मैंने कहा था, वो अभी भी चल रही है। काफी हैवी शेलिंग हो रही है, और जब मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूं तो ऐसे लग रहा है कि नियर बाई कोई 200-300 मीटर पे ही कहीं कुछ घिरा है। बहुत हैवी शेलिंग हो रही है।
राइट। आपके साथ ये आपका बच्चा, आपका बेटा है?
जी जी हाँ, ये बात करेंगे।
हम उससे बात कर सकते हैं?
जी जी जी।
आपका क्या नाम है?
मेरा नाम मिदांश है।
मैदांश, मेरा नाम अभिषेक है। और आप मुझे शायद पता नहीं देख पा रहे हैं कि नहीं देख पा रहे हैं, सुन तो पा रहे हैं कम से कम। आप कौन सी क्लास में हैं मैदांश?
तो मैं 7th क्लास में।
7th क्लास में हैं। आपको पापा ने बताया क्या हो रहा है बाहर?
यस सर, जैसे ही हमें आया मैसेज की सीज फायर हो गया, यहाँ बहुत खुशी का माहौल था। हमने सोचा कि स्कूल जाएंगे, अपने फ्रेंड से मिलेंगे, अपनी स्टडीज कंटिन्यू करेंगे, लेकिन बट इन द गैप ऑफ 10 to 15 मिनट्स हैवी शेलिंग जो है फिर से स्टार्ट होगी, तो फिर हम बंकर में आ गए।
You sound like such a bright boy, मिदांश। मिदांश, आपके साथ बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जिनसे शायद आप पहले नहीं मिले होंगे, और पापा उन सब लोगों को घर में ले आए हैं, और वो सब लोग अब आपके साथ बंकर में। आपने बाकी लोगों से बात की? आप उनको जानते हैं? आपकी उनसे क्या बातचीत हुई? क्या कह रहे हैं सब लोग?
तो पहले तो हम आए थे, पापा लेके आए थे थोड़ा, लेकिन फिर हमने थोड़ी आपस में बातचीत की, पता चला कि ये जा रहे थे अपने घर, तो बीच में सीज फायर की खुशी थी, अपने घर जा रहे थे मिलने सबसे, तो बीच में गैप में जैसा कि आपको पता है कि फिर वो फायरिंग स्टार्ट होगी, हैवी शेलिंग स्टार्ट होगी।
जी
तो इनसे काफी बातें हुई, और अब ठीक है, लेकिन परेशान है सारे, क्योंकि घर जा रहे थे और बीच में हैवी शेलिंग स्टार्ट होगी।
जी जी। रोहित जी,
जी
बहुत बहुत बहादुर है आपका बेटा, और मुझे आपको ये बताने की जरूरत नहीं है, शायद मुझसे भी बहादुर है, क्योंकि वो वहां पर बैठा हुआ है और वो ये बम गोलों की आवाजें सुन रहा है, इनको देख रहा है। मैं आपके पास फिर से वापस आता हूँ। मैं एक सेकंड के लिए जरा एक और सवाल पूछता हूँ और अपने एक गेस्ट के पास जाता हूँ, और आपके पास फिर मैं वापस घूम कर आऊंगा। विंग कमांडर शर्मा, thank you so much, sir, for taking the time, and my apologies for taking so long to come to you. But as perhaps you heard, we have some people joining us from the border areas of Jammu and Rajasthan. I wanted to get their stories across because they're the ones who are at the forefront and, of course, facing the full brunt of what Pakistan has just decided to do after, of course, the agreement that it reached with India. So my question to you, sir, is, were you surprised when the agreement between India and Pakistan was reached to stop firing at each other? And what was your reaction when you got to know? I'm sure you must have been hearing from your sources on ground as well that Pakistan has decided to violate that agreement.
Jai Hind to all. Not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. because we know what kind of rogue state this is. And secondly, there are fissures which are out in open now. There are disagreements between Shahbaz Sharif and General Munir. General Munir is now the Osama bin Laden of Pakistan. He's become the one-man army. His own commanders are also defying him now in this time. There are gunfires, heavy shelling, which has already started. You already told us in these areas, and it was good that we were ready. We did not let our guard down, and we have also started retaliating. There are 2-3 places in POK which are heavily shelled by us, and there's a big bombing happening at Bimbar also. Now we have 3-4 options open. So if you have time, we'll come back to it, and I'll then tell you
I'll come
what
back to you,
options
sir.
we have now. Yeah.
I'll definitely come back to you for that specific aspect and for that specific aspect of this entire situation. But give me some time. Let me quickly get Brigadier Dhaya in now with us. Brigadier Dhaya, once again, let me apologize to you. We took such a long time to come to you, but that's because, of course, we are joined by some individuals, some people who've been kind enough, who've been who also want to share their story, who are of course in Jammu and in Rajasthan, as you must have heard their stories as well from them. Brigadier Dhaya, my question to you is, Pakistan has done this. This has happened across, multiple states. Rajasthan, we know of. Jammu and Kashmir, we know of, because the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Umar Abdullah, also, of course, tweeted and talked about, the explosions that he is hearing, and of course the, countermeasures which are, at this point in time, in place, have been fired by the Indian Armed Forces. So, as per you, sir, what are you hearing from your sources on the ground, and why do you think Pakistan would do for what everybody here was thinking is something which Pakistan asked for? Agreement of some sort, which would have stopped this, fighting this battle between India and Pakistan, was in Pakistan's favor, because of course Pakistan's economic condition is not unknown. I mean, everybody knows what Pakistan is going through. Why would Pakistan do this?
Nitin, first and foremost,
Sir,
you are
Abhishek.
Abhishek, you are a very courageous person that's still going on with the story that ceasefire violations are on, where the rest of the media has switched off this. That's very encouraging to see. And getting these inputs from these local peoples, and from my sources also it is confirmed that ceasefire violations are on. That's I salute you for that. The reason could be now. Reasons are Pakistan army is not a cogent army. The LoC people are suffering. They have suffered casualties. There could be very plausible reasons will be given for this. That maybe the orders took time to pass down, and there were sentiments prevailing at the local level which forced them to carry on with this. But overall, the design seems to be, and if it is a design, it's a masterful deception which the Pakistan has carried out. If it is by design, which has been carried out.
Right, sir.
It's a masterful deception. So I would like you to take a call on this, whether you would like to still go ahead and give us our opinions, or as the word has
been... we'll just stick to facts. We'll just stick to what we are hearing from the ground. We're not going to speculate. We're not going to say anything. Yeah. We're not going to say anything which is not verified. I've been saying this, along with my team from, from the night of...
And I personally love journalists of your nature. I've been official spokesperson for the Indian Army, and I see a bright future for you if you keep going down this path. And the reason is that this was definitely not in our national interest. When we had the enemy pinned down, we should have gone for the jugular. You remember Asim Munir said Kashmir is our jugular,
He did, sir. On 16th of April.
We had Pakistan Army's jugular in our hand, and we let it slip. And we simply let it slip.
Sir, at this point in time, the reason I'm not speculating, and I would also request you to refrain from speculating, is because we don't know what happened, behind closed doors, what were the terms.
I agree.
So we're not going to go there. But as and when those details are out, of course, we will put together another panel and hopefully we'll have a conversation again. On that note, Ambassador Singh, what is your understanding India is going to do next in terms of the diplomatic action that India should take at this point in time? Should we start talking to the US again? I don't know whether that's happening or not, and I don't want to speculate at this point in time. But having said that, sir, what should be India's next step as far as its diplomatic actions are concerned?
Thank you. So evidently, the first thing we have to do is protect our people, including the people you have shown. So I think counter strikes are feasible. Now, I don't know whether India will launch counter strikes across the border, which will then really tear the so-called stoppage of firing into bits. The second part is that India knows that Pakistan can't be trusted. So I think India is not going to go to the United States, but Rubio has been talking to EAM and NSA almost on a daily basis. So that may continue, but the next step actually is the DGMO's call on 12th May, that's Monday. So I don't think there's any diplomacy before that. It is all the people who claim credit, the Saudis, the Americans, and everybody else, for them to do their diplomacy. I think India was very clear, Pakistan cannot be trusted, and we made a very clear statement of intent that in future, terrorist strikes will be considered an act of war. Meaning that next time, no Operation Sindhu. It will directly lead to assaults on military targets. So it is up to the others who want to launch any diplomacy to do so. I think for diplomacy, India and Pakistan are at their lowest ebb ever. So please don't expect bilateral diplomacy to do more than what has been done so far. If the hotline between the DGMOs can at least restrain the forces. But we don't know why the Pakistan army is not listening to their own government. That is a critical question. Thank you.
Right, sir. And Wing Commander Sharma, now let me circle back to you, sir. Again, took me a while, but we have various perspectives. We have heard from Ambassador Singh. We have heard from Brigadier Dhaya, and you were talking about at this point in time, of course, what India's future course of action should be. But don't you think at this point in time, it is a little too early? We should perhaps wait for some official word to come in to try and understand what might have been the terms and conditions of this violation, because surely, firing as it might have happened, as it might be happening while we speak across the line of control and in international border, might not actually be the breaking down of the entire set of agreement.
You see, the things between DGMOs are absolutely clear. Absolutely clear. There's no uncertainty about it. They have a hotline. They have a hotline, and there are far and few between India and Pakistan. And when there is a clear agreement, there is no any kind of ambush, fighting, shelling on the sea, land, or air. It's absolutely clear. Not even a drone is allowed. Not even small arm is allowed. They were very, very clear. Now, we cannot wait till infinity that they keep throwing all kinds of arms at us, all kinds of missiles at us, drones at us, and we sit twiddling our thumbs. That's not the way the government works. These defense services work. The times have changed. Times have changed now. Earlier, we had to ask 10 permissions before taking up a gun against Pakistan, but not anymore. This government is very, very clear in their stance is very clear. Take decision. You are there on the line of fire. Take your call, and the right call has been taken.
Okay, okay. रोहित जी, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है सर?
यस सर, यस
सर, रात के 10:30 बज गए। आप अपने बंकर में हैं, अपने परिवार के साथ हैं, और करीब 30 लोग और आपके साथ हैं, जिनको आप अपने स्वभाव की वजह से, क्योंकि आप इन लोगों का ख्याल रखना चाहते हैं, इनके प्रति अपने आप को जिम्मेदार समझते हैं, आपके इमीडिएट फैमिली का हिस्सा भी नहीं है, और आप इनको अपने बंकर में ले आए हैं। आपको अभी भी, जब मैंने आपसे 2-3 मिनट पहले बात की, आपको बाहर शेलिंग की आवाजें आ रही थी। क्या कैसे सोएंगे सर? जैसा मुझे कमरा दिखाई दे रहा है, आप सब हैं वहां पे, सुरक्षित हैं, बहुत अच्छी बात है, और हम चाहते हैं कि हम प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं यहाँ से, और आई एम श्योर पूरा कंट्री भी प्रार्थना कर रहा होगा कि आप सुरक्षित रहें। लेकिन कैसे सोएंगे ये जो बंकर हमें दिखाई दे रहा है इसमें?
ये आज तो सोने का है, सोने का है। यहाँ बैठकर ही हम सब अपने अपने ईष्ट को याद करके रात निकालेंगे कि शायद सुबह जो हो वो अमन की एक सुबह हो। तो इसी उम्मीद में आज हम रात बैठकर ही निकालेंगे, क्योंकि सोने का तो मतलब ही नहीं होता, क्योंकि बच्चे भी डरे हुए हैं। हम लोग खुद यहाँ पे जो है बच्चों को संभाले हुए हैं, जो लोग हमारे साथ हैं वो खुद सहमे से हुए हैं। तो रात को बैठ के निकालेंगे, लेकिन हमारा मोराल जो है वो ऊंचा है। हम अपनी आर्मड फोर्सेस से इंडियन आर्मी के साथ खड़े हैं। हम यहीं पर रहेंगे बॉर्डर पे टिल आवर लास्ट ब्रीथ। हम यहाँ से जाने वाले नहीं हैं, चाहे अंजाम जो भी हो। हमें अपनी आर्मी पर, पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस पर पूरा भरोसा है कि ये पाकिस्तान की नापाक हरकत का मुंह तोड़ जवाब देंगे और अच्छा रिहैबिलिटेट करेंगे।
जी जी, हम आशा करते हैं ये आपकी आखिरी रात हो इस बंकर में, बट टच में रहेंगे, आपसे बात करेंगे रोहित जी। मैं आपसे
ओके।
रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, आपका परिवार, वेदांश, आप सब जितना आराम कर सकते हैं, जितने इत्मीनान से इस वक्त शायद पैर पसार सकते हैं, जगह थोड़ी कम दिखाई दे रही है, आई एम श्योर मेरे व्यूअर्स को भी दिख रहा होगा। आपकी
छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं, ये मोबाइल पे बिजी हैं। ये बच्चे हैं, लेडीज हैं हमारे साथ। ये देखिए
जी
बिल्कुल छोटा सा बच्चा है गोदी में। ये सारे छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं, आंटीज हैं। ये देखिए, ये मेरी गुड़िया है छोटी सी। ये
जी
देखिए, ये पूरी फैमिली है मेरी। हमने अपने लिए जगह बिल्कुल कम बचा के सभी को साथ रखा है, ताकि ये जो रात है, एक भारी रात है हम पर, ये आखिरी रात हो। इसी उम्मीद के साथ हम सब आज जागेंगे कि ये जो है रात जो है अमन, सुबह जो हो वो एक अमन की सुबह।
रोहित जी, मुझे नहीं पता आपने ये जो काम किया है, ऐसे हालातों में आदमी पहले अपना परिवार, अपनी जमीन जायदाद, अपने जानवर, ये सब कुछ देखता है। आप आपके बंकर में आपके साथ 30 लोग हैं करीब।
जी जी जी, ये
अ,
सभी लोग अपने अपने घरों को जा रहे थे,
जी जी
लेकिन
जी, आप हमें बता चुके हैं। मैं बस ये आपको जाहिर सी बात है
ये
धन्यवाद
छोटे
बोलेंगे।
बच्चे का भी जज्बा देखो, ये भी बोल रहा है जय हिंद। बोलो काका, जय हिंद।
जी, बंकर में जरूर हैं, एंड दिस इज फॉर आवर व्यूअर्स। These are Rohit ji is joining us with nearly 30 people. His family is not that big. This is not these are not his immediate family members. Uh, these are people who were with him in the neighborhood, staying in various bunkers. They have come from the border area where perhaps they don't have bunkers in their houses. They were brought in. They were asked by authorities to, come closer to city centers where there are more bunkers and more people can be accommodated in. And today, a few hours ago, when the agreement between India and Pakistan was reached to stop firing at each other, and an understanding which was put in place, gave the confidence, of course, to these people that now they can head back to their homes, which is literally on the border, as Rohit ji was telling us on their behalf. And they're all there. They can hear us. I'm not sure to what extent and for how long to bother them, because as you can see, this is a very, I don't want to use the word, I don't want to trigger anybody, but this seems a very confined and very small space. There are about 30 people in there. You can see them, women among them, very young children. Rohit ji allowed us to talk to his son. We spoke to him. Now, Rohit ji, हम आपके पास
जी
फिर से आएंगे, बट तब तक आप अपने हाथ को आराम
ये
दीजिए। आपने अपने हाथ में
एक
फोन
और है
पकड़ रखा
हमारे
है।
साथ, आप इनसे बात कीजिए, ये हमारे पास हैं जो रुके हुए।
जी जी जी, बिल्कुल।
बोलो बोलो। नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार जी, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
जी जी आ रही है।
आपका शुभ नाम क्या है सर?
मेरा नाम सुनील कुमार है।
जी, आप अपने परिवार के साथ वापस आपका घर, जहां पे आपको जगह का नाम लेने का जरूरत नहीं है,
जी।
आप वापस जा रहे थे। ये कितने बजे आपने प्लान बनाया कि अब वापस जाना है घर की तरफ?
जैसे ही हमने देखा, न्यूज में आया और अपना डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प का ट्वीट देखा हमने, तो उसमें बोला सीज फायर हो गया है। तो हम खुशी खुशी अपने घर जा रहे थे। तो जैसे हम रास्ते में पहुंचे तो रोहित भैया थे, इन्होंने हमारे को अपने इधर रख दिया, तो फायर शुरू हो गया। तो फिर हम इनके पास ही रुके हैं। फिर रात को बच्चे, छोटे छोटे बच्चे, ये देखो,
जी
ये
जी
बहुत
जी।
खुश हो गए थे कि सीज फायर हो गया। तो हम अभी अपने घर जाएंगे और स्कूल जाएंगे, हमारा स्कूल चालू होगा।
आप
बट
आप कितने दिन से यहाँ पर हैं, इस इलाके में हैं?
अभी 3-4 दिन हो गए सर हम यहाँ पर।
3-4 दिन हो गए। सर, मैं
जी
आपके
जी।
पास वापस आता हूँ। व्यूअर्स, देयर इज एन अपडेट व्हिच हैज कम इन। देयर हैज बीन अ टेररिस्ट अटैक ऑन there's been a terrorist attack on a military unit in Nagrota. Nagrota is near Jammu. We are waiting for more details. This bit of information has been shared by ANI. As of now, there is no verification of this particular update, but this has been shared by ANI. So we are attributing this to ANI. And SOG has responded swiftly after sighting of suspected individual in Nagrota area, and the entire area has been cordoned off. I will quickly read. There is a very, I think, 5 or 6 lines long update that we have. Let me read it out to you. Following reports of suspected individuals spotted in the Nagrota area, the Special Operations Group, or SOG, immediately reached the site and cordoned off the surrounding area as a precautionary measure. Security forces are closely monitoring the situation. Authorities have urged the public not to spread rumors as it may cause unnecessary panic. Any verified updates will be officially shared in due course. So we will have to wait for any kind of confirmation on that for a little more time. These are live updates which are coming in. And I have just read out to you that we will come back to this once official verification of this comes in. At this point in time, all we can say to you is that a suspected figure has been spotted in Nagrota area, and the area has been cordoned off by the authorities as per, of course, the standard operating procedure. Now, I'm not sure if Wing Commander Sharma is still with us, but if he is, and if he can hear me, can you hear me, sir? I think Wing Commander Sharma is not with us. Let me come to you, Omkar Singh ji. Omkar Singh ji, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है सर?
जी सर, सर बिल्कुल
जी। इस वक्त क्या चल रहा है सर? बाड़मेर में हैं आप, और दिन में जो अथॉरिटीज थी, जो सिविल अथॉरिटीज थी, उन्होंने हाई अलर्ट जारी किया था। बाजार बंद कर दिए गए थे, लोगों को अपने घरों में रहने को कहा गया था। 6 बजे के आसपास, आई एम गेसिंग थोड़ा आगे पीछे, आपको पता चला होगा कि अब भाई फायरिंग नहीं होगी, और इंडिया और पाकिस्तान में एक अग्रीमेंट हो गया है जिसकी वजह से अब कोई फायरिंग नहीं होगी। बट ये फायरिंग फिर शुरू हो गई। कितने बजे के आसपास शुरू हुई, ओमकार सिंह जी, अगर आप फिर से एक बार हमें बता सकें, और अभी क्या माजरा है वहां पे? अभी आपको क्या सुनाई दे रहा है, क्या दिखाई दे रहा है?
सर 9:15 के करीब आकाश में लाइटों की तरह ड्रोन जाते हुए दिखे लोगों को पूरे बॉर्डर एरिया में। तब सभी ने घरों के बाहर निकल कर देखा तो बिल्कुल ऊपर से निकल रहे थे, और बाड़मेर के आसपास धमाकों की भी आवाज आई। और उससे पहले शाम को 6 बजे करीब सीज फायर तय हुआ था, और प्रशासन ने भी सभी माकूल व्यवस्थाओं में छूट दे दी थी कि सामान्य जनजीवन पूरी तरह से जैसे वैसे था वैसे चालू हो जाए। लेकिन पाकिस्तान ने वापिस नापाक हरकत करते हुए 9:15 के करीब ड्रोन हमले करने शुरू कर दिए। जोर से धमाकों की आवाज आई, लोगों में एक एकदम दहशत फैल गई। लेकिन अभी तो सब कुछ सामान्य है। जो कुछ थोड़ा बहुत हुआ, थोड़ा बहुत ड्रोन आए और बाड़मेर के आसपास धमाकों की आवाज है, ड्रोन गिरने के भी समाचार हैं।
अच्छा, और ये आप सुनी सुनाई बात बोल रहे हैं या आंखों देखी बात बोल रहे हैं, ड्रोन गिरने वगैरह की बात जो आपने लास्ट में बोला?
ड्रोन गिरने की सर तो सोशल मीडिया से जो चल रही है वो बता रहे हैं, लेकिन जो ड्रोन उड़ रहे थे वो हमने खुद में
छोड़
देखे
देते
हैं
हैं
सर।
सर, माफ कीजिएगा, लेकिन ड्रोन गिरने की बात जो सोशल मीडिया से आप सुन रहे हैं उसको भी छोड़ देते हैं। उसको पहले वेरीफाइड सोर्सेस से आने देते हैं। हमारे पास इंफॉर्मेशन आएगी, हम शेयर करेंगे, आपको दिखाई दे, आप हमें बताइएगा, आप शूट कर सकें तो उसको शूट कर लीजिएगा। बट ऑन दैट नोट, let me quickly once again for I suppose the last time go to Rohit ji, and after this we will give him and the people who we saw with him in the background rest, and Rohit ji is joining us from Jammu. Rohit ji, जाते जाते मेरा आपसे आखिरी सवाल रोहित जी।
जी जी सर।
आप लोगों ने खाना खाया, आप लोगों को इतना टाइम मिल पाया कि आप जरूरत का सामान, क्योंकि आप आपके साथ बहुत सारे छोटे बच्चे हैं, आपका अपना बेटा है जो 7वीं कक्षा में पढ़ता है जिससे अभी हमने बात की, आपके साथ उस बंकर में मुझे एक बुजुर्ग भी दिखाई दिए, उसी बंकर में आपके साथ कुछ महिलाएं भी हैं, करीब 30 32 33 34 लोग हैं। हमने एक बार भी जब से हमने बात करना शुरू किया है आपकी लोकेशन की बात नहीं की, हम नहीं जानते आप कहाँ पे हैं, जम्मू में आप कहीं पर हैं, बॉर्डर एरिया में हैं। ये बात मैं दोबारा इसलिए बोल रहा हूं ताकि किसी को भी ये ना लगे कि गलती से ही सही कहीं से भी कोई और डिटेल किसी और के पास पहुंच सकती है। बट वो कहने के बाद सर मेरा आपसे सवाल ये है कि क्या आपको इतना टाइम मिल पाया सर जब ये दोबारा से पाकिस्तान ने ये उल्लंघन किया इस अग्रीमेंट का, और आर्टी फायरिंग, आपने जो भी आवाजें सुनी वो शुरू हुई?
नहीं, ऐसा है कि अभी हमने बंकर से सामान शिफ्ट ही नहीं किया था। मैं आपको बता दूं कि जब हमने यहाँ बंकर बनाया तो यहाँ पर हमने सारा अपना जो सामान था वो रखा हुआ था, और उसके बाद हमने यहाँ आपको दिखाऊंगा कि ये देखिए। अच्छा, 1 मिनट के लिए आपका लूंगा, ये मैं कैमरा उस तरफ
जी
करता
बिल्कुल,
हूँ।
पूरा समय लीजिए रोहित जी।
ये देखिए, हमने गैस चूल्हा भी रखा है यहाँ पर। ये इस तरह से सैंड बैगेज से हमने डोर क्लोज किया हुआ है, रास्ता डोर को भी अपने सैंड बैगेज से या हमने बंद करके रखा है। फिर हमने यहाँ पानी का सामान रखा है। ये सारे लोग जो हैं, आप देखिए किस तरह से हम लोग एक किस्म से, ये सारे लोग अभी मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूँ, लाइट्स ऑन की हैं, लेकिन ये बच्चे छोटे छोटे
लाइट्स
ये
ऑन
सभी
करना, रोहित जी माफ कीजिएगा, माफ कीजिएगा रोहित जी, माफ कीजिएगा, लाइट्स आपने अभी ऑन की है, लेकिन क्या लाइट्स ऑन करना असुरक्षित तो नहीं है किसी भी तरीके से?
नहीं 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 नहीं, हम लोग यहाँ जहाँ हैं यहाँ पर लाइट ऑन तो अंडरग्राउंड है, ये बेसमेंट में है, हम बेसमेंट में है
ठीक है,
हमारा।
आप सुरक्षित रहें। अगर लाइट ऑफ करने से आपको कुछ भी असुरक्षा महसूस हो प्लीज बंद कर दीजिएगा, बट जैसा आप कह रहे हैं कि लाइट किसी को दिखाई नहीं देगी तो इट्स ओके, आप बेसमेंट में हैं।
हम बेसमेंट में है, बेसमेंट में है, और ये जो हमने इसका पूरा हमारे मतलब अपनी तरफ से हम सुरक्षा करके बैठे हैं, बाकी ऊपर वाला और इंडियन आर्मी के भरोसे बैठे हैं हम।
जी रोहित जी, धन्यवाद रोहित जी। आप प्लीज अपने परिवार का और अपने जितने लोगों की जिम्मेदारी अपने सर पे ले लिए। पता नहीं कौन ऐसा करता है आज की दुनिया में, आज के जमाने में,
नहीं
आपके
नहीं
घर
नहीं
में,
नहीं
आपके
नहीं,
बंकर में,
नहीं,
आपके
ये
परिवार अपने बच्चों के साथ
ह्यूमन
30 लोग हैं।
एज ए ह्यूमैनिटी है, ये ह्यूमैनिटी है और कुछ नहीं, ह्यूमैनिटी है, इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं।
जी रोहित जी, आप अपना ख्याल रखिए, आप फोन रख सकते हैं रोहित जी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका, आपने हमसे इतनी देर बात
ओके
की।
सर, थैंक यू सर।
प्लीज ख्याल रखिए, प्लीज स्टे सेफ, टू एवरीबडी, टू योर सन एज वेल एंड एवरीबडी हु कैन हियर अस। थैंक यू सो मच एवरीबडी। धन्यवाद,
ओके।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आप आराम से फोन रख दीजिए रोहित जी, अब आप इत्मीनान से आराम कर सकते हैं। धन्यवाद रोहित जी। विंग कमांडर शर्मा, I'm sure you must have been, hearing. I'm not sure if you can watch them or not, but you must have heard what Rohit ji and the likes of him, are doing. Exceptional bravery, and of course, regard for a life of a fellow human who is not your family member, who's not your immediate, family member, not your blood, and he has, gathered 30 people in that small little bunker where we could see, at least I could see with my own eyes, there was no space for anybody to, even stretch their legs, let alone sleep. As he showed us, that was also on the screen, the sacks filled with perhaps mud or sand, was stacked against the door of the bunker. And this was in a basement. And that is where that entire family, which has young kids, so accommodating, so considerate of the life of, a fellow Indian. And I'm sure he's not alone. There are many Rohits like him. But of course, a salute to him. And my last question to you, sir, what next, sir?
To watch. Meetings are going on at the Prime Minister's house. The options are very clear. If it was a smart move by Pakistan, a mischievous one, because you would see they allowed the civil flights again. While they were sending in drones, they allowed the civil flights so that we do not fire at their airports. And they want to put us in such an embarrassing situation if we misfire and we bring down 200 or 300 poor civilians. They are actually ruthless. These people are ruthless Pakistanis and absolutely unreliable. You see,
Sorry,
against them
I'll interrupt you for a second.
the humanity here in the bunker.
Yes, sir.
He has taken such pains and shown such large-heartedness here for people, discomforting himself and his family. Salute to these people. And on the contrary, you see, there is an army which doesn't bother about its own troops, and they have put them at such a situation where the government of the day is telling them something else, their own boss is telling something else, and they are doing something else. The options are very clear with the government: do some clinical incisions, or go full-fledged, or take some selected areas of POK, Lahore, Karachi, and change the map of Pakistan, and at least remove that hurdle that our next 10 generations don't even see or hear what is terrorism next door.
So, I'm sorry, I'll interrupt you for a second. Of course, at this point in time, emotions are, of course, running high. Since we started this, in the sense that since India, of course, launched Operation Sindoor, we have done multiple lives. There are so many interviews that I've personally done, and our endeavor here, our entire, what we really wanted to do, what we actually were aiming for, was to only share with our viewers, verified information, to make sure, that we were only reporting facts. There was no exaggeration. There was no jingoism of, any kind, any of such phrases thrown in. And we haven't done that when we've been doing it for 4 days. But tonight, sir, you said Pakistan is ruthless for leaving its civilian airspace open, after, of course, doing what it did, in Rajasthan and in Jammu. And I think the first, rather extreme phrase that I will use tonight is, or perhaps a word, is that Pakistan, what it has done tonight, it is absolutely shameless, ruthless. I mean, it's not a business deal. When you're doing business, okay, be ruthless. But this kind of, an act, I mean, I don't know what to say. And so I'll leave it at that. But having said that, I can't think of a single country. I've been around for a while, may not look that old, may not sound that old, but all the people, or the seniors that we've been hearing from, including, seniors like you, experts like you, this is unheard of. This is unheard of that, a country putting its own civilians, in the line of fire in case India responds, which, by the way, every single country, according to whichever law, whichever convention you look at, if a country is attacked, it reserves the right to respond as strongly and as it deems fit. India, of course, will have to carefully look through that fog of drones or missiles or artillery shots, whatever is coming our way, before even countering it, to make sure, even by mistake, we don't hit anything which might be civilian. Because Pakistan, of course, as it has done on previous nights as well, left its civilian airspace open. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, it is around 11 o'clock IST. You heard from Rohit ji, who joined us from Jammu, in a bunker with 30 people, 30 plus people. Most of them not his immediate family members. He gave them shelter in his house, in his bunker. Some of you who managed to see the visuals which we were playing at that point in time on our screen, I'm not sure if they're up now or not, but you could see there was no room in that bunker. It was not big enough for 30 plus people. But his heart is big enough that he allowed 30 people to come into his house, in his bunker, stay with his family along with his kids. With hopefully, I'm guessing, I don't know, with perhaps their help, he put those sacks which he was showing us against that door of that bunker, sacks full of mud or sand. Some water stored there for as long as they can't step out, because even now they could hear sounds. They could not view it because, of course, they're in a basement. There is no window, but they could hear the loud thuds of whatever, whether it is RT firing or drones are doing something or whatever it is. But he could definitely hear the sound. We could hear them faint noises in our video because, of course, they're in a basement. We were also joined by Omkar Singh. He joined us from Badmer, which is a border town in Rajasthan. He shared with us what he's been hearing. Of course, he, with his own eyes, saw drones. He spoke of some explosion, but that was secondhand information, as in he had heard it from, perhaps a neighbor or a relative. We don't know. And whatever we don't know, we're not going to say it categorically. We're not going to insist on it. We'll leave it there. As and when it gets confirmed, we will come to you with those developments. But at this point in time, from my entire team and me, which had left the studio, which had left the office, we were headed to our homes. And tonight, we were hoping, like all Indians, to fall asleep for a while, because this is, of course, the weekend. And around 6 o'clock, Indian Foreign Secretary announced that there is an agreement which has been reached between India and Pakistan, and there's no firing that's going to take place between the two countries. We took Pakistan's word on face value, and Pakistan, within hours, struck back. For what? We don't know. We will join you as and when there are more updates, as and when there are more developments, as and when we hear from our sources, we hear from the government. But on that note, thank you from the entire team of Hindustan Times. I'm Abhishek Singh, and of course, from my entire crew, once again, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.
Thank you, and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir.